Welcome, everyone, to a call for judgment. As insane as the world continues to get, it's only going to get more insane because every single agenda that any of us have ever discussed is actually starting to get rolled out. So remember when they were talking about Project Bluebeam, tinfoil hats for 5G, certain somethings that they really wanted to get inside of people, transhumanism, climate agenda, carbon footprint, monitoring, surveillance 24/7, all these things that we've always been deemed conspiracies, which are truthfully facts. They're exactly what's going on. And now we're seeing all of them come out at once. They're not hesitating at all because they have convinced the majority of the population of something that isn't actually going on. The majority of people are living in a false reality. Every single thing that they think is real is actually fake. Everything is inverted, which is something I talked about many times over with the do without wilt mindset of Aleister Crowley, the law of reversals with Aleister Crowley. Everything was going to be inverted and flipped upside down. So we're living amongst people who literally believe all these things that are occurring that are actually created in a studio. None of it's real. So their heads are going to explode when they finally figure it out, but it'll be too late then because most of them will be transhuman at that point. But this is getting so surreal. Not only are we going to have Project Bluebeam false flags, but we're actually going to have 911 calls where people are spotting demons in their backyard or aliens or whatever you want to believe if it's a psyop or not. Now, we're going to see tons of psyops about UFOs. We already saw them coming out. We're going to see tons of psyops about aliens being real. And again, I've talked about this many times over if you're new. Aliens are based off of demons. Aleister Crowley once referred to Lamb, whatever you want to call this freak show that he drew, and obviously not the greatest artist in the world. I mean, more like a Picasso painting. But Aleister Crowley told us that demons would be renamed to something else. And of course, that has turned into aliens. But take a look at this body cam footage that they just released of a 911 call. And I'm laughing because it's just unbelievable that this stuff is on the news. You could have whatever take you want. I know there's people who follow my channel that believe that aliens are flying around from Uranus to Mars and all this other stuff. And I know then there's another percentage of people that can't think you can go to space. Obviously, I think it's pretty obvious where I fall with the belief in going to the moon and the belief with UFOs. These are all government-created psyops. These are more ways to reel in a new world order, of course, and of course the ushering of the Antichrist. But we now have 911 calls of aliens being seen. You can't make it up.
It is the police call everybody will be talking about. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Denise Valdez.
I'm Brian Loftus. A family says something crashed into their backyard, prompting them to call 911, saying they saw creatures walking around.
Our 8 News Now investigators digging into this for weeks now. And tonight, our David Sharns with the video you will only see on 8 News Now. David?
Right, Denise, sources telling the 8 News Now investigators that several agencies believe something landed or crashed. Whether it was non-humans or not, it certainly scared the people living on this property. Now, before we show you that video, listen to their call for help.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we're terrified of it.
So there's 2 people or 2 subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Okay.
Well, the 8 News Now investigators obtaining video as officers then responded to the call you just heard. You'll see the officers also saw something in the sky that night, but the big question is, what was it, and is it all connected?
Leave her alone.
It's almost midnight on May 1st when a Las Vegas Metro Police officer's body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
there's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Someone calls 911 reporting 2 large figures in their backyard.
No, I'm so nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining another officer's video as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star, then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
By now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard, or?
They see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro blacked out that part of the video because it's considered private property. What's clear? They're taking this call seriously.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
That investigation turning up no concrete answers as of Wednesday. Whatever or whoever fell into that yard, long gone within minutes.
Oh, hey, if those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So yeah, this is quite weird, Brian was saying as we're watching this story. Now, we've been in contact with the family in that video, and as you heard in that 911 call, they seem very reasonable and honestly quite scared as you heard them in the call. No, they don't seem impaired in any way. And whatever crashed by the time that police got there was gone, but sources say that there's really no dispute. Something was in their yard. Exactly what? We do not know.
I mean, it's so interesting. So, like, the Metro officer sees something, the neighbor sees something. I mean, so what could it be?
Well, we know that there are obviously a lot of military bases around this area. George Knapp covers a lot of that stuff for us on the 80s Now Investigators. We're showing you drone video from above that area. And we know, of course, Creech not far away, Nellis Air Force Base not far. I checked in with them. They say they are not involved at all, and we are waiting to hear from the Pentagon as well.
And you talked to these people. It seemed completely legitimate to you. And do you have any personal thoughts on maybe what it was?
Right. So it seems from talking to our sources that something happened. There was obviously some flash in the sky. A lot of people saw it that night on the night of April 30th, early in the morning on May 1st. Did that exact thing land in their yard? I don't know. But these people said they saw some SUV circling the area. Could this have been some piece of equipment that malfunctioned? Maybe they saw something and then someone came. I can't believe we're talking about this.
Right.
Someone came and retrieved it from the backyard in the SUV. We don't know. This all comes as a former high-level intelligence officer, a veteran, was on News Nation talking about how there is a program where the government collects some unidentified objects. So this might be that. We just don't know. We're going to work to find out, though.
And
Brian
no substances. They were looking with clear eyes.
Very interesting.
Not big buggy eyes, though.
No, obviously one of the things that sticks out in hearing that, whatever your take is, again, you can have a separate take from me. I mean, there's going to be tons of fake false flags about aliens to convince people that aliens are real. Now, some people are probably going to hear that and think it could potentially be Nephilim, 10 feet tall, 15 feet tall. Some people believe Nephilim are actually 15 feet tall. Other people believe they're 450 feet tall. You can decide what you want to believe, but this is something that is on the news. I kid you not, on the news. So you saw the news clip, and now the stories that are out there, I mean, they're getting reported on from all sorts of mainstream media outlets, which tell you that they want the story out there because they don't waste any time putting out propaganda that they want out there. The only thing that they spend time on restricting is truth. There's nothing that gets aired on the news that's actually legitimate other than some stories that will fit into an agenda that they're trying to push. So if something naturally occurs that is racially motivated, they will go out of their way to make sure that that does make the news. But the majority of times, they're not real stories. They're creating a fictitious reality, which is really what we're all living in right now, the upside down. And no coincidence that Stranger Things became as popular as it did, because we are in the upside down. So the officer's camera was rolling as he interviewed these people. This occurred on April 30th. I'm doing the video June 9th. Around 11:50 p.m., a police officer's body camera recorded as something streaked low across the sky. It's a streak, all right. More like a skid mark. But anyway, the police showed up. As you saw the body cam footage, you heard the 911 call. And they're talking about more and more of these stories starting to happening in Las Vegas. Then they're saying several people across Eastern California. Then people in Utah reported seeing the flash. So all of a sudden now, they're starting to report on these things for obvious reasons, right? Because they have some type of false flag in the works. Now, most of you are obviously familiar with Project Bluebeam, where they would use the technology that they have to create some type of simulation in the sky. There's a couple people have different opinions on what they would use it for, if they would do the false coming of the Antichrist or false coming of the Messiah to deceive people revealed in the skies, and each country would have their own version and see it in the sky. They wouldn't know that it was some type of a light show because, look at the technology that they have. I mean, if you watch any of these deep fakes of like Keanu Reeves or Tom Cruise, it's one of the most frightening things I've ever seen in my life. Ever. They literally could take any regular person and frame them. And nobody's worried about that because they're like, why would they do that to me? Why would they frame me? Why would the government care what I'm doing? I don't matter. Oh, right. Well, as we're seeing, anybody who speaks out against communism is being targeted by our own government. So you could guarantee that there'll be false flag events that they create using a deepfake. Now, some people can tell the difference between a deepfake and reality, but most people actually can't because most people are on autopilot. So we're seeing this pop up in more and more states. 40 minutes after it was recorded in the sky, a man called 911 saying he and his family saw something fall from the sky, and there were two moving things in his Northwest Valley backyard. The Metro Police call log, News 8 investigators obtained shows several other family members confirmed the sighting to police. The dispatcher sent 2 officers to the home to investigate. The News Now investigators obtained body camera footage, which you saw since the story aired Wednesday, which it aired Wednesday the 7th. News outlets across the world have cited 8 News' reporting, so they're patting themselves on the back for putting this out there. I'm glad this is what we're focusing on the news, but again, the reason in the past that they haven't rolled out Project Bluebeam, the reason that we heard Ronald Reagan talk about how it would take an alien invasion to unite the world, is because that's part of the plan of how they're going to bring about a new world order. Oh, humanity's going to band together because no longer will people care about genders and race and all this crap that they're creating because there's an outside force. Like that's what Reagan told us back, I believe, in the late 80s, early 90s. People weren't dumb enough then to fall for this kind of stuff. They have worn people down and weakened men so much to a point that they'll believe anything. They've empowered women who will believe anything. And now we're at a point where they can roll out every single agenda that we've all covered, like I said earlier, and they will believe it. They will believe it, despite knowing they have the technology to do deep fakes, despite all the stuff that we know that they have the ability to do. The problem, like I've said a million times, is that nobody believes that there's evil, wicked people who would do this. They like these people. They look up to these people. They look up to their political affiliation, whatever party they're affiliated with. You have the libs who think somehow, which is incredible, that Joe Biden is a great president. I mean, you can't make it up what they're thinking. Then you got the other side that thinks Trump's coming in to save the day because they're making him persecuted. So we see them both being worked. And now what's next? Well, roll out some alien invasions. Why not? Why not? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Has anyone ever heard of the movie Monstered? Yeah, that's right. There's a movie called Monstered. It's about it's a horror movie about a giant turd man. Okay? I wouldn't be surprised if they aired that on CNN and told people it was real and they actually believed it. They're like, there was a chemical explosion and a giant mound of feces turned into a walking monster. And then all the people watch CNN would be like, oh my goodness, we better put masks on, we better stay indoors. They believe it. What wouldn't they believe at this point? And again, I know people get sensitive about aliens and UFOs because people are like, I've seen UFOs, you're wrong about UFOs. I never said they didn't have the ability to make UFOs. They have unidentified flying objects that they send out there. They don't need to look like an airplane to be, you know what I mean? Our government creates them. This is all part of a psychological operation. Everything they're doing is psychological, convincing you of a reality that's not even happening. Okay, so yes, they have the ability. And yes, demons are real. We know this from just looking at the occult, looking at the witchcraft, the sorcery, the black magic that they do, the summoning of spirits. So those things are real. The Bible talks obviously about demons and demonic possession. Jesus casts out demons, right? And the disciples are supposed to be able to cast out demons too, which you never hear the church talk about, because, you know, these are things that they want you to think are, oh, well, it's supernatural. Oh, it's not meant literally. No, it's real. It is real. But I'm telling you that this story is out there because there's going to be a lot of seed planting, because part of how they're going to get people on board with all their agendas is to bring this about. And the dumber that our society gets, which it's pretty dumb, the dumber they get, the more dumbed down they get, they will believe anything that they're told. They don't want to hear about the Tavistock Institute where these people are trained. They don't want to hear about the CIA and intelligence operations. I mean, there's so many stories that you could tell these people. Yeah, sometimes I like to bring up to random people because, you know, everyone's into like all the serial killer shows and the ID shows that Netflix just continually makes, right? Like they made 80 Dahmer documentaries and 80 Ted Bundy, and they don't realize that these people all have connections to the CIA, right? I mean, the Unabomber. Oh my goodness, he went to Harvard at 16 years old. What happened when he was at Harvard? Oh, they did psychological operations, the CIA did, with him. They brought him in at a young age and they did all this stuff and they released him into the world. I mean, there's all of them have connections. Gacy, right? I try to use that as an example so people could realize that the problems in the world are being caused by these people who have been experimenting on humans, on the human brain for over 100 years or for longer. But I mean, we can go back to, you know, what we all know with Operation Paperclip in World War II, right? However many years that is from today. Okay, off the top of my head or whatever. What is it, 70 years, 75 years, 80 years? Okay, they've been doing this. And now everything that they're rolling out is a psychological operation. I tell people this too. If you're watching the news, step back and see how it's making you feel. And I could totally understand when you watch this crap, this lib crap, it drives you nuts, right? It drives me nuts. It's very unhealthy to see a lot of this stuff. So you have to pull yourself back and say, they want me to feel this way. Why? Both ways. Why? Because all it is a psychological operation to make you feel a certain way, to convince you of all their agendas that they want pushed and passed. And that's why we have a huge problem, especially in America now, with liberals, because they don't realize that they're communists. They think that they're progressives. They're communists. One day they're gonna wake up and say, where did all our rights go? How come the government's at my front door threatening me to do whatever they tell me to do? Why suddenly can I not get fast food? Why am I suddenly eating a cockroach? Why suddenly is the sun shielded, right? Why suddenly am I like having an allowance on where I can travel to because of the climate? Oh, because you asked for this stuff, because the government has weakened you down, dumbed you down, and pretty much humiliated most of these people because they've been humiliated because they're so narcissistic, they believe that they're actually right. They're wrong about not just a few things, everything. It's crazy. So we're going to see more blue beam. We're going to see more alien stuff. It's just going to continue to get rolled out, ladies and gentlemen. So be prepared for it. I thank everyone for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families.